What if everything that you thought the world around you was a lie? What if it was all fake? What if you lived inside of a clown world? What if the federal apparatuses that are designed to protect, first and foremost, the Constitution and your first right were using the power, the awesome power of tech platforms to censor and suppress those rights upon which they swore to protect? What if you lived in a clown world? What if the people whose sole responsibility in life was to save and to safeguard your free speech were actively attempting to destroy free speech as we know it and to make state-authorized facts the only thing that you can know? What if these people acted so maliciously that they meddled and interfered inside of an election so harshly that they literally were able to determine the outcome for their preferred political party? What if? It's no longer a what if. It's no longer a question. This actually happened. And Elon Musk delivered the results this weekend. And as we will show you in the show, not only were these results purely damning and were the largest political scandal in my lifetime, largest presidential scandal ever, as they clearly show the party that gained power was actively suppressing information with the assistance of federal law enforcement in order to meddle in and to interfere in an election. They went on to win that election in large part due to that interference. We have the polling to show that. And more importantly, what if the apparatus that is set up to be protected by the First Amendment, the media apparatus, actively to this very day is suppressing this information by not reporting on it? No articles in the New York Times, no articles in CNN, no articles in the Washington Post, no articles inside of corporate media about how corporate media assisted in the rigging of this process by not reporting these details out. It was their responsibility. The New York Post stands alone and was punished alone in their reporting of this, the bloody glove of our political landscape here in America. Bloody glove analogy, of course, used by the OJ analogy. OJ literally left a bloody glove with his DNA on it at the murder scene. There's the evidence. And much like what happened with the OJ trial, where they were able to create doubt and they were able to control narratives, this is happening now. So you know they're guilty because you didn't see any corporate press reporting on it this weekend. In case you wonder, in case you had any doubt further, if you lived inside of a clown world, here we go. Revealed tweets deleted by Twitter at the request of the Biden team appear to be photos of Hunter Biden smoking crack, as pressure mounts for president to explain what he knew and when. What did Joe Biden request to be deleted? Real photos of his real son, multiple cracks in these images, his ass crack, and then the crack he was smoking with his mouth. Joe Biden requested that a meme that was presented by and created by, presumably, James Wood, the legendary Hollywood actor, suppress his account. They deleted James Woods from Twitter because he shared a real photo of the president's son really smoking crack. No journalists shared these photos. No people protected by the Fourth Estate. No people protected by the First Amendment. No, and in fact, federal law enforcement assisted in this. It is truly the witch's kitchen of our time. The federal law enforcement apparatuses sworn to protect your First Amendment, colluding with big tech in order to destroy your First Amendment. The DNC and the Biden camp caught red-handed, ladies and gentlemen. And here's what Tucker had to say about it.
These documents show that, among other things, political officials in the Democratic National Committee were directing censorship at Twitter ahead of the 2020 election. One Twitter official wrote on October 24th, 2020, that he had received, quote, an additional report from the DNC. So the DNC was telling Twitter what to pull off the site, and Twitter was complying. Next morning, to prove it, a Twitter official confirmed the post had been deleted. I grabbed the first one, that Twitter employee wrote. Twitter was also following instructions directly from the Biden campaign in the final days of the presidential campaign. One of the documents proves that officials on the Biden team routinely directed Twitter to remove posts that reflected poorly on Joe Biden. Quote, "More to review from the Biden team," read one internal email from a Twitter employee just days before the 2020 election. That email included a list of several Twitter accounts that had criticized Joe Biden. The reply, quote, "Handled. We just checked." Now, those accounts remain suspended today.
So who was the person who was suspending these accounts? Somebody that we've made mention of on this show many times. Someone named Vijaya Gadde. This is somebody who has photos with Hillary Clinton on her personal Instagram account. This is somebody who is a far left-wing activist. Twitter was used as a super PAC for the Democrat Party. It wasn't a social media platform. Vijaya Gadde being the person who actioned on the deletion of Donald Trump's Twitter account and the censorship of the Hunter Biden story. Would you have even had a January 6th were it not for Twitter's actions censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story? Polling shows that an entire 17.5% of Democrats would not have voted for Joe Biden had they known about his criminality and about his usage of the federal docket and position that he held to enrich his family. This is direct polling from the Media Research Center. That polling indicates that Joe Biden would have actually lost in a landslide if 17% of his base had not shown up to vote for him, if people were able to know about this October surprise. That is how we can directly reference that Twitter itself meddled so directly and so at the direction of the FBI through Vijaya Gadde, a far left-wing activist, the person fired on day one by Elon Musk. And here's why. Tucker Carlson covered it beautifully. Go.
Internally, Taibbi writes, quote, "The decision was made at the highest levels of the company, but without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey, with former head of legal policy and trust Vijaya Gadde playing a key role. All suspected, now confirmed." Now, in public, Twitter and its many allies and the rest of the media claimed that the New York Post story violated the hacked materials policy that Twitter had on its books. But internally at Twitter, everyone understood that was just a pretext. The laptop had not been hacked, and it wasn't of Russian origin.
They understood it was a lie. So they were lying to you directly, and we know that because of Matt Taibbi, whose Twitter account went through an exhaustive, nearly 40-tweet thread on Friday night. I think that we have hundreds of thousands of retweets now. This may be the most popular Twitter thread in the history of Twitter. We'll put it up on the screen for you right now as we go through some of the major takeaways. We want you to be able to see it. Elon Musk says, "Let's go, pop the popcorn." Here are the Twitter files. Matt Taibbi, formerly of Rolling Stone, a highly accredited journalist, going through and talking about what we have inside of the documents he had been given by Elon Musk. So the Twitter files tell an incredible story of a company that started off with good intentions, free speech intentions, and was totally usurped and taken over by far left-wing apparatchiks. How did this happen? Well, people continued to ask for permission to delete, and by people I mean powerful people, ask for permission and requests to delete or take down content they disagreed with or content that they thought were damaging to their various vectors of power. Because Twitter is a far left-wing run company, there were many more access points for the left to do this. This makes perfect sense. Taibbi goes through that and then says that you get to a point now where Democrats and the DNC are literally actioning tweets they don't like. They're going through and demanding that memes get deleted, demanding that, like our boy, there you go, there's the email right there. More to review from the Biden team. Here, let's take down the account of Jared7891356 and Guy Squigs. This is how paranoid these people are. These are Anon accounts. And the Team Biden is going through directly asking that these accounts get taken down. You can see it. There's the smoking gun for you right there. In case you're wondering what like needle dick, low testosterone energy these people have, they're going through and like demanding that Anon accounts get taken down for reposting or posting memes. ALX's account was taken down by posting a meme of Xi Jinping supporting Biden, Winnie the Pooh. Here we go. The breakdown of Twitter, of course, massive donators to Democrats, a Democrat super PAC. The resulting moderation decisions prove that high-level executives actioned accounts at the discretion of the Bidens and the DNC. So that's what happened on Friday. We learned that. Now, what happened with Hunter Biden's laptop story directly? Well, the takeaways is that they just winged it. That the FBI, and we know this, my sources absolutely know this, and we will present to you rock solid evidence that the FBI was directly asking and prepping for the Hunter Biden laptop to drop and to get it censored on social media. Mark Zuckerberg directly said that the FBI was in contact about this. The FBI knew about the laptop because they've had the laptop since 2019. The FBI had had the laptop for an entire 18 months. They knew its content, they knew it was real, and federal law enforcement stepped in order to meddle with and interfere in an election. The FBI was prepared for this laptop to drop. Brave people like Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon walked out and said so. They said this was going to happen. They prepped us for this Hunter Biden laptop story. And of course, the real journalists at the New York Post published it. So those are the major takeaways, ladies and gentlemen, from the actual laptop drop. What ended up happening was Twitter ended up censoring it without any evidence. They made up policies in coordination with federal law enforcement in order to get it censored. They then punished accounts that shared it, and they treated it like child pornography, according to one team member from Twitter. One team member from Twitter said it's extremely effed what we did. We were treating it essentially like some of the most vile and despicable material on the internet. Things that are plainly illegal, right? You go to jail for sharing or distributing child pornography. And Twitter was using this and the awesome powers of censorship at the discretion of the federal government and in harmony with their policies and at their direction, as we will prove to you in just one moment, to treat the Hunter Biden laptop story as weaponized illegal information. What happens when you realize that the world around you is fake? New CEO Elon Musk published a slew of tweets containing emails from Twitter executives involving the censoring of Hunter Biden laptop. Reading to you from the Daily Mail here. More to review from the Biden team, staffers, redacted correspondence, and deleted Twitter accounts at the discretion of the DNC and the Biden campaign, saying, handled, got it. They were working to censor you and to destroy your rights at the discretion of the government. We cannot say it again. He claims that these tweets were requestedly deleted by the DNC and actor James Wood. He shared a meme of Hunter Biden smoking crack. Just in case you're wondering, it's not just the bombshell stories about the true stories about Joe Biden's kid smoking crack and using the position of his father to get millions of dollars from the communist Chi-Coms and from every other evil regime around the world, Russia included. No. And you wonder why Joe Biden's so hard on Russia. Yeah. It's a PR tactic there, all right? It's a PR tactic. It's called softening and hardening, all right? You make sure that you're hardening against the potential attacks because Joe Biden has been bought and sold by the Russians. Joe Biden's been bought and sold by the communist Chinese. They know it, too. So here, ladies and gentlemen, is a meme that James Wood shared. It's a photo of Hunter Biden smoking crack. And they went after the memes as well. We often say the left can't meme on this program. They went after James Woods' meme. James Woods, legendary Hollywood actor. You know him, of course. Also a deeply based, incredible conservative. We encourage you to follow him. He's back on Twitter. He had this to say to Tucker about the DNC specifically coming after his memes. In case you wonder what they're truly scared of, less real report. Look, it's the memes. The memes make them terrified. This show is what they're scared the most of. Legendary James Woods had this to say to Tucker. Put a chill in your bones.
I can guarantee you one thing, more than anything else you'll ever hear in your life. I will be getting a lawyer. I will be suing the Democratic National Committee no matter what. Whether I win or lose, I am going to stand up for the rights that every American, not a so-called celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. I'm hardly recognizable anymore because my career has been destroyed by these very people. And I will sue, and I'm hoping other people will sue. And if it turns out there are a lot of us on this list where the DNC targeted us, and I will quote the immortal words of Joseph Welch when he attacked Joe McCarthy for the enemies list he had, at long last, sir, have you no shame?
Yes.
President Biden, all of your stocky little operatives in the DNC who have targeted American citizens, Have you, Mr. President, have all of you at last no shame?
Yes! Yes! This is the energy that we need. God bless James Wood. He said he's going to get a lawyer and he's going to sue them into the Stone Age. He now sees the smoking gun documents that they were going after James Wood. Now, this is a very, very long, I don't know exactly which tweet it is, but we can pull up the document. We will show it to you on the screen right now. The document where the DNC directly requested James Wood's tweet be censored, his account be taken down. It's somewhere inside of this massive Twitter thread. I don't know. ALX probably knows which one it's on. And so, ladies and gentlemen, James Wood saying he's going to sue them into the Stone Age, and you should add from the DNC there. You should also add the DOJ and the FBI. In case you're wondering what a real coup looks like, when your government turns against you in order to assume power, when the government turns against the leader, a duly elected leader, in order to grab power for its own entities and organs. In case you're wondering what a deep state looks like, all these FBI agents, all this DOJ, these guys were working for Trump at the time. Yo, they were working for Donald Trump was their boss. The FBI is an executive order. It was done by the pen. It can be undone by the pen. Any president at any time could strike a pen to paper and could scratch out the FBI no longer exists, and the FBI would liquidate at that very moment or be absorbed by some other government entity. The FBI was acting in collusion with big tech against the sitting president, the duly elected president, Donald Trump, in order to meddle in the American election against Donald Trump. That is what an actual coup looks like. That's what a deep state looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, we now know that the FBI met regularly with Twitter ahead of the Hunter Biden laptop censorship. We cannot stress this enough. We've had many people call us over the weekend. We were at Mar-a-Lago. We had a couple meetings. We've had many people call us over the weekend to stress something that is very much missing from the Twitter files. And I find this very curious. Missing from the Twitter files is the direct federal involvement in the censorship of this story. And we want to present to you the argument and the evidence this morning and let you decide whether you think that this is an action by the federal government in order to censor this story, a true deep state. I mean, you could call it a coup. You could call it a hypothetical metaphor assassination. You know, this was them going after Donald Trump from the inside. In the context of psyop warfare, this was what we have experienced now. You have been the victim of a psyop assassination against truth and reality itself. These are the results, ladies and gentlemen. The FBI did meet regularly with Twitter. The FBI did ask regularly for Twitter to take down content. The FBI warned Twitter that there was going to be an October bombshell and that they should take major steps in order to censor it. We now know this. Have a look. Watch.
The former head of Twitter's safety department now claims that the FBI was coming to warn him at least once a week about a possible hack and leak operation involving Hunter.
I mean, the idea here is simply to come clean on everything that has happened in the past in order to have build public trust for the future.
I think there will be more smoking guns because the obvious next question is, well, what happened after the election? That's probably the right thing for episode 2, is what happened after the election.
And it's been business as usual for Hunter Biden. He spent part of the weekend at Camp David, then celebrated Kennedy Center honorees, including George Clooney and U2. The night before this, New York Post cover hit newsstands. It says, Fed lies, Twitter's post ban based on FBI fib.
Whoa. Okay. So, what are we finding out now? Strangely absent inside of the Twitter leak files that were dropped was federal involvement in all of this. But what we are finding inside of the pretty furious reporting from Miranda Devine and there from Fox News' Peter Doocy is that actually the feds have a huge involvement in this. Miranda Devine, who broke the Hunter Biden laptop story and is the true authority on the Hunter Biden laptop, a friend of the show and the author of Laptop from Hell, was raging about the absence of the knowledge of federal interference in the election She had this to say this weekend as it pertained to the FBI, directly insisting that Twitter be on the lookout for a very big story in October about the Bidens that could be rough and disinformation. It's like they were prepared for this. How would they know? Oh, I got it. Because they had the laptop. They've been sitting on the laptop for years. Miranda Devine, go.
I've seen a sworn affidavit from Yoel Roth, the former head of Twitter's Trust and Safety. He was meeting every week before the election with FBI and other intelligence officials. They warned specifically of what they called a hack and leak operation, a dump of Russian disinformation. And Yoel Roth says that in those meetings, he was told there was a, quote, rumor that it was about Hunter Biden. So they seeded that information with the social media giants, the FBI did, and that ensured that within hours of our story going live on October 14, 2020, 3 weeks before the election, it was censored. Now we're finding out a little bit more that there was discussion behind the scenes at Twitter, quite an active argument about whether this was a First Amendment problem. But the other interesting thing is how little Jack Dorsey was involved. He was obviously just blindsided, it seems, by the people under him who were intent on censoring this. And I think we have to point the figure, you mentioned him already, Jim Baker, Twitter's #1 lawyer, who says he says their caution is warranted. Now, that's coming from your top lawyer. You're going to pay attention to it. He, of course, is former FBI general counsel, very much involved in the Russia collusion hoax.
So here is the information that we know. According to the Daily Mail, new information has emerged in the case of Twitter censorship and suppression. The New York Post reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop in the lead up to the 2020 election. In a disclosure to the FEC, it was revealed that Twitter had weekly meetings with federal law enforcement, and that it was during one of those meetings that Twitter was told to watch out for a Russian disinformation drop. Former head of Twitter Trust and Safety, Yoel Roth, submitted a disclosure to the FEC, saying that the company had been warned by the FBI of a forthcoming Russian information dump. You can see that disclosure there. There's the signature. There is the document on your screen. This is Twitter's head of trust and safety saying, we absolutely met with the FBI weekly. It's there in black and white. These expectations of hack and leak operations were discussed throughout 2020, and we learned these meetings that were rumors of hack and leak operations that would involve Hunter Biden. This is according to Yoel Roth. So the FBI was preparing for Hunter Biden to be exposed, his laptop to go public. They knew it. Were they spying on Tucker Carlson's phone? What were they doing? How did they know? Were they spying on the New York Post? During these weekly meetings, the disclosure signed by Roth reads, federal law enforcement agencies communicated that they were expecting a hack and leak operation. I was told in these meetings, Roth went on, that the intelligence community expected the individuals associated with political campaigns to be subject to hacking attacks, and the materials obtained through the hacking attacks would likely be disseminated on social media platforms, including Twitter. These expectations of hack and leak operations were discussed, though, throughout 2020. I learned in these meetings that the hack and leak operation would involve Hunter Biden. The FBI knew that the Hunter Biden information was going to drop. They were prepared for it, and they had already constructed a framework of how to discredit real reporting protected by the First Amendment and to psyop the hell out of you. Watch the product of their work. You almost have to sit back. You almost have to sit back and be awe-inspired at the banality of the evil of these people. It's like watching Communist China, okay? I hate Communist China. I hate their intelligence apparatus on their own people, their social credit system, but they can shut you down in the snap of a finger. You scan your little app and it goes yellow. You are no longer allowed in your apartment building. You're no longer allowed to buy food. You're no longer allowed to sell, trade. It's like the Book of Revelations over there in China. That's why they want to export that to the rest of the world. You have to stand in awe of the banality of the evil of it. You have to stand and be in shock at how well planned. Evil doesn't sleep, remember that. How well planned this all was. They were preparing for it. We weren't ready, man. We were on a different playing field. We were doing checkers. They were doing chess, 3D chess, underwater chess, upside down, different dimensional chess. And this is the result of that. Look at how efficiently they are able to get into the mouthpieces that were on TV at the time, record viewership, by the way, for these broadcasts at the time, and were able to manipulate the words and the language around this leak. This is what a PSYOP looks like, ladies and gentlemen. The Russian disinfo supercut. Go.
A really fishy story. The Post claimed that the emails were found on a laptop computer that was brought to a repair shop in Delaware in the spring of 2019.
The FBI is now investigating whether those alleged Hunter Biden emails are actually connected to a larger foreign intelligence operation.
They may be related to a foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence operation.
For all we know, these emails are made up.
The information found on the laptop may be part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Part of a Russian disinformation effort.
Described by many intelligence experts as having hallmarks.
All the hallmarks of a Russian disinformation.
Russian disinformation
campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media
50
machine.
former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage.
This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation at a smear campaign, like you said.
Yes. I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. It's the last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. The vast majority of the intelligence